We're in the main reception area of the food village. Can you tell us what's going on here?
Well, this is to some degree the link between the raw materials and the production that we've just seen and the food village. And dotted around the main reception area here of the food village, we have examples of some of the absolute key processes that transform the raw materials, the food outside, into the food products that are on sale within the food village and on our supermarket shelves. So maybe you'd like to take a look at them on
Well, we were just going to say, let's have a look and see what we've got here.
We start off with this particular exhibit and on the honeybee and honeys, and honey in itself is an important product. But why we would put this particular exhibit in here is to demonstrate to people just how important bees are in horticulture and plant life, and in the pollination process that they create. And without honeybees we've no plants. Without plants we don't have horticulture. We don't have food.
Yeah, absolutely. So from the honeybee we're going into the fish area now.
Well, absolutely. Well, now fish is another key sector of the food industry, and we're all aware of the wide range of fish products that are on sale in our supermarket shelves. So, but you know, as well as just these are just a display here of white fish, but fish are also transformed into through processing into fish pâtés and various other fish products that we see in our supermarkets.
And behind me here, of course, is cheese, which is a
well, yeah, there's a display of cheese, butter, milk, and I don't think that needs much explaining the importance of the export side of that industry to Ireland. As I said, out in the production area, we had a grass exhibit out there, and that the grass production is the cornerstone of Irish farming, and the production that comes off that through dairy cows leads to these wide range of dairy products which we consume ourselves, but more importantly they're huge value in terms of exports to this country.
Absolutely. Well, let's move over the far side. I see lovely bottles of apple juice over here, am I correct? Yeah. Now, can you tell us a bit about this area? Because it's not an area that's as well known, is it, in Ireland?
No, not at all, but it's a growing area. Effectively, apple production in Ireland, we can grow very, very good apples in Ireland, and a lot of people actually talk quite nostalgic about the apple and the Irish apple, because a lot of the apples we actually get on our supermarket shelves can be imported from Southern Hemisphere and beyond. To some degree, the apples can be produced more economically or at lower cost because it's done on a much larger scale in these countries, and because of the shelf life of the apple, they can be landed into our markets at a very much reduced rate. So their scale of production in those countries is phenomenal. They've got extra sunshine, they get higher yields. So the growing apples commercially in Ireland is quite difficult to compete with the higher yields and the economies of scale at the price. But we still have a strong apple sector in Ireland, and as I say, emerging. And one of the key interests amongst consumers is this whole area of apple juice production.
Yes, absolutely.
And we contacted the Irish Apple Growers Association, and we asked them to put on display here for the public a display of regional apple production from various counties. So we have apples being produced here from Kilkenny, from Waterford, Carlow, Wexford. That's just the amount of counties that I have in my head. So
that are actually into producing.
We're looking here at an apple press here, so we want people.
I was wondering that.
We want people to understand the process of how apple is squeezed from the apples, and we have a basket of juicing apples over here. They look slightly off colour, but that doesn't matter when you're juice. It doesn't matter at all.
Yeah.
So
you're not looking for the perfect apple.
No, because it ends up in the pulp.
Absolutely.
They're not hand-picked. A lot of them are taken straight off the tree and into baskets and straight into the press and squeezed for their juice.
And then moving from apples and apple juice, we're coming on to the grain area. A huge area of Ireland.
This is a vast area. It's basically the whole area of cereal production. Its importance is from two angles. First of all, in terms of the food products we get from grain, typically from wheat and oats. Here we have an example of porridge here grown down in Waterford. We have beers, malting beers. So on the food and beverage side, there's a huge link to malting, barley, wheats, oats. But also there's a huge portion of Irish farms that produce wheat, barley, oats to feed the animals that we saw out in the animal section, to fatten them up and to bring them through the winter particularly when they're inside during the long winter months. So one can't underestimate the importance of it, and there are a few other combinable crops we have here. We've got maize, from which we can do we make maize silage, and we've got an example of marrowfat peas, and which are grown down in the Athy area for a leading branded manufacturer.
So this is linking from what we looked at in our previous clip, from all the growing section plus the animals. We're bringing it in here, and then our next stop is where, Lorcan?
Well, we'll actually go into to the orchard. I think over the orchard we'll just have a description, because we're now walking into the food village, and it's sort of like the high point of the end of the trail, as we say, and the trail that most people see is the food they put in their baskets in the supermarket. But I think the 90,000 people who've come to Bloom here today, we hope they've got a better appreciation of where their food comes from, how important it is to support the farmers and the processors who are out there doing their hard work to create employment and our jobs in Ireland, and to produce these wonderfully good quality finished food products.
Well, let's go into these finished food products now. So, great.